All right, guys, we have a warning for you. You have to be careful when buying books based on a movie trailer or a TV show trailer. So stay tuned on the special drop list. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Aurora House, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess wave, so you do it too. Bow down, respect, and of course, there's the Coco.
There is the Coco. All right, guys, so we're back on this Monday, and we have a very special drop list for you. It's an all Moon Knight drop list, but more specifically, 1 year ago today, they had a trailer that came out for the Moon Knight TV show, and a lot of books spiked based on that trailer. So,
but just like that trailer dropping, these comic books be dropping too.
True, very true. So yeah, a lot of books spiked based on that trailer, and these are the 5 books, and just surprisingly, they're all Moon Knight books, so it was all kind of special, and there's some crazy stuff, so we'll get into that. Okay, before we get into any of that, though, we have a nice, tasty beverage to try out today. I think we have a new one to the show.
Yeah.
Brand new beverage to the show.
It's a Calypso Taste of the Islands, Ocean Blue Lemonade. It says shake well. Shake it.
Can you do
not
the thing?
stirred. What? I need to go to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I need to. Let's try this. Oh, smell it. Oh.
Not for the faint of heart. It kind of looks like a Snapple.
Oh, wow.
Tastes good. I miss
good.
Snapples.
Tastes
Or
really
Sobeys. It kind of looks like a Sobey.
Oh, God. I might not drink all of this.
50,000 calories.
Has a
in one
million
bite.
things of sugar.
All right, guys. So let's get into the drop list. So if you guys are new to the drop list, the ComicGains crew scours the internet for trending lists, hot lists from 1 year ago, and we try to figure out which books have taken a significant dive in the market. Specifically, this is a special episode because 1 year ago, like I said, the Moon Knight trailer came out for the TV show, which I actually thought was really good. I think a lot of people really liked it. It kind of didn't cross over a lot with what else was going on in the MCU, which isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of like its own little standalone show.
Yes.
And the acting was superb, and did a really good job. But the preview for the trailer was super confusing to some people on which characters were which characters. And I think at this time, the books were still really hot. You know, a lot of books were going way higher than they probably should have. And then Moon Knight was probably the last MCU project where I think books went crazy, way too crazy. Because when She-Hulk came out, or even Miss Marvel, the books didn't go as high. They were expensive, but not like books that were $5-10 books were all of a sudden $100 books with Moon Knight, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
So luckily enough, we're here to report on that and some goodness. And as you know, we're big fans of Moon Knight here, so we have quite a few books on this list. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you guys have to let us know in the comments down below. So let's kick it off. Our first book, which we do not have, we did have one time, we don't have at the moment, is Moon Knight #2, Volume 2 from 1985. And this is probably the biggest offender on the list of the books. And this is done by Armando Gil and Alan Zelnitz. That's a difficult name. Sorry, Alan. And this is first appearance of Dr. Arthur Harrow. This is a crazy book because this was probably the ones that got was worth literally nothing and went from nothing to $100 or more. It was crazy. But this got really popular because in the subtitles in the trailer, you get to see Ethan Hawke, and it showed down that Dr. Harrow was the name of the person talking in the subtitles in the trailer. So everyone was like, hey, this has got to be the book. This has got to be his character. Strangely enough, this is probably the least liked series of Moon Knight. The Volume 2 was probably the one that people liked the least out of all the series. So people were and Dr. Harrow's not even that major of a character in the series. So people were this is kind of weird. Why would he be this character? And it's kind of a mix up. Some people thought he might have been the Sun King. We'll get more on that after because that's going to be part of this list as well. But
spoiler.
Not too much spoiler, but. It's just kind of one of those things. And overall, I don't know if anyone actually figured out who Ethan Hawke was supposed to be. His name ended up being Arthur Harrow in the story, but he was not the doctor that character was in the book. So other than the name, he was not that character. I don't know. We'll get on more though. I don't think he was actually anybody that we know of. But more importantly, what was this book like a year ago, Zach, and how far has it fallen?
It was over there and back again. a drop story. Really bad drop story. So, prices a year ago was $312 for a CTC 9.8. Now, $60.
Ooh.
$57 actually. Range $36 to $530. Average sales is $152. I mean, if you're looking for this book right now or have been, this is the perfect time to buy a cheap 9.8, as the research shows. Yeah. I don't know much about this character. It's probably lower on the list to get for me, but it's not bad for $57 for a 9.8. So,
yeah.
those gains.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting stuff. Okay. We kind of touched bases on a little bit of the Sun King, so why not dive a little bit deeper into the Son of the King?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got Moon Knight 188. This is from Volume 1. It's one of those weird legacy number books that actually came out in 2018. So it's actually part of the original series, so to speak. But this is Jason Barrows and Max Bemis doing the work on this book. Great cover, too. But this is first appearance of the Sun King, who is the avatar of Ra. And this was another huge spec character for Ethan Hawke. Everyone kind of seemed like the way he looked, because the Sun King sort of has like followers that follow him around, and he preaches to like his Egyptian god who's Ra. And then, in the TV show we learned that he's actually preaching about the other character, the crocodile type. I can't remember the name of the crocodile guy, but kind of similar. So a lot of people thought he was the Sun King, and this book got really, really, really expensive for kind of a newer book. 2018 is a lot different than 1985 on the last book, but it's just an interesting thing. It's one of those things. Like I said, it doesn't seem like he was either this character or that character, but had some similarities. Maybe kind of like a mixture between the two, or a borrowing of the two. So cool book still. I think of all the books on the list, this one has maybe a little bit of legs on it. We did see a lot of characters in the show were avatars of gods, and I don't think we specifically saw one for Ra yet.
Yeah.
So would it mean if we get another Moon Knight series, we might actually see the avatar of Ra, which would be the Sun King. So this one's not that far out there, as it's still a decent book. Notable variants, and Zach looked at this one last night. The 1 in 25 Daniel Warren Johnson cover is crazy cool, and there's a second print, which is an homage to Moon Knight 25 by Bill S. And in my own opinion, there's an underrated lenticular of the same cover that is also Bill S. on there. That it's pretty cool if you're looking at this book. And Zach, if we are looking at this book, what are the prices on this sucker?
Well, this is very Monday Night Raw kind of situation. Dropping it with a DDT. Bam! So, prices a year ago was $550. Now, for a CGC 9.8, you can buy one for $60. Range,
almost the same as the last one.
Yeah. Range, $47 to $550. Average sale, $101. It's not a bad pickup. It's a great cover. I mean, Sun King, this one actually has a little bit of legs because they actually didn't show it. They implied that the Sun King was in there. And it might be a little bit of foreshadowing, actually, because he wasn't the avatar of Ra. He was the avatar of somebody else, crocodile person like that.
Whoever that crocodile god was. If you guys know who that is, leave a comment. No, you guys know, so you can leave a comment.
I think it starts with an A.
They're tough names.
Asbestos. No, that's not. That does sound like a god name, but it's actually not good stuff. So
don't pray to the asbestos.
No, it's pretty great deal at $60. This one has a little bit more legs than the last book. I would put this a little higher than the last one. So keep an eye out.
I agree. All right, I'm excited about this one. This is a weird one, guys. Really weird one. And I'm excited to hear what Zach has to say about it. We've got Werewolf by Night 32, but not the one you're thinking. This is the Facsimile from 2001, and this was on the trending list from a year ago. That's crazy. This original art by Gil Kane when it came out back in 1972. This is obviously a reprint of the first appearance of Moon Knight. And this is kind of a weird one. You can tell, if you're not sure, you can tell on this one there's a barcode on the cover. The original one doesn't have that barcode on it. And that's how you can tell this is a reprint, so don't get tricked. But this kind of back at the beginning when they started doing these reprint ones. Like, I guess the second go-round, non-true believer reprints. But there's a few of them that are worth some money. Not all of them. A lot of them, came out, they're like $4 or $5, and they stayed at $4 or $5. For some weird reason, the Werewolf by Night one jumped up to about like $20.
Yeah.
Kind of, close off the bat. And Might have been because Werewolf by Night 32 got so expensive, the
Right.
real one, that people were looking at these reprints. I'm not sure. I'd love to hear what you guys think about why this one was so expensive compared to some of the other ones. And they're even still doing them. They even have next month, ASM 129 reprint comes out. So they're still going on, and it's kind of hit or miss which ones are making money and which ones aren't. But this was one of the better ones for sure. So yeah, couple of questions for you guys, and this is like, do you like these reprints, and why do you think this one was worth more than the others? Definitely some questions. And I have a question for Zach. Where is this book now? Where is this facsimile?
Call it the trash man, because this needs to be dumped. Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $100. Now $40. Range $23 to $115. Average sale $68. It's cool, but honestly, I've been considering trying to buy all of them and then burning them. Massive burning. I don't like fake similes. Fake similes.
You started a new name. From now on, they're fake similes.
Fake similes. I don't like. I mean, I like the idea that you can read the original story as if you're holding the original book. I kind of like that, but when you have to pay more than a couple bucks for it, oh, that gets me heated. That gets me on fire, guys. It's a Burns book.
A burning hot rage.
This is, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I could be really wrong, but this is on the bottom of this list, the very bottom. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
You could have made some sweet gains if you bought a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
You got them graded and sold them for $115.
Yeah,
but then you feel bad about the people that bought them. You get to live with that.
And every once in a while, you see one go for 1,000, like, guys, this is not the original. You see that every
cool part though is they do have the original ads in it, which is kind of fun. I do a lot of collectors have told me that they like the original ads, from when it came out. All of them.
Would you cut out the Marvel
value stamp? Get the Hulk 181 reprint. All right, next on the list, and this one is also something that might not be a dead spec out of the ones on this list, but you have Mark Spector, Moon Knight issue number 35, volume 3. From 1992. This is the third volume of Moon Knight, and this is Ron Garney and Terry Kavanagh working on this book. Great cover on this one. But this is first full appearance of Randall Spector, who is the brother of Mark Spector, Moon Knight, and later becomes Shadow Knight. And this is just a character that people were specking on could end up in the show based on the trailer. Nothing like specific, but it got not as expensive as the first two, but it jumped up in price significantly because they were like, hey, this is kind of a cool character in the books. People really like Randall Spector. There's a lot of like twists and turns with his character where there's like the Hatchet Men show up and pretend to be Randall Spector, and then they get killed, and it turns out it's not really him. But overall, like, he's a pretty bad dude, and he ends up like kind of his character as Shadow Knight looks kind of similar to Moon Knight, but he's like a little bit darker color, like a little bit like darker blues and stuff like that. So by that means, I mean it hasn't dropped down like as far as some of the other books, and maybe Zach will give you more numbers on that, but it's such a good story that it could show up later on. Like I said, if we see Moon Knight season 2 or Moon Knight the movie, it'd be a cool thing to bring in Randall Spector.
I think so.
People really like him, and interestingly enough, in Strange issue 4 from the current series that's going on right now, he actually gets reanimated as a Revenant from the Blasphemy Cartel. So they actually used him in 2022 as an undead zombie. Which is pretty. They undeaded a lot of people, which is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun thing. I don't know, Zach. Is there anything else pretty fun about this book, or is it not that fun?
I would actually be speculating on this book a little bit.
Okay.
I actually think you should speculate. Because prices a year ago was $102 for a CGC 9 Not bad for that book. Now $40. Range $36 to $200. Average is $111. If my research is right, $111. If it is $40, right, for 9.8 with that much legs, I think this is the deal of the day. Honestly, I think this is number one on the list.
They were selling Raw for like $35 like a year ago, so that's not that far off from like $100-something bucks for a 9.8. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think
you could have made some gains.
I think that's the one you should be picking up for that price.
Okay.
Deal of the day.
And last but not least, a very special one, very cool book. We've got Moon Knight issue number 3, volume 1 from 1981. I believe this would be the oldest book on our list today. Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Bill S. giving it some goodness. Doug Monick doing the writing on this one. Great cover. first appearance of Midnight Man, a costume thief, and he was actually in the show. The character was in the show, played by Gaspard Ulliel, and unfortunately, he passed away in real life.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they were actually planning to do more with him in the show, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he stole some stuff in the show, and they were able to like kind of see like his like kind of black market fencing area where they go and buy some goodies from him and stuff. Did a great job on the show, but he's a cool character in the mythos for Moon Knight. Like he doesn't really have any powers. He's like an expert cat thief, cat burglar. Doesn't steal cats, but that'd be cool.
Right.
But and then he ends up getting like disfigured in a battle with Moon Knight. Like hates him for his disfigurement, and then gets in all that stuff, and actually has a son that he trains, and then ends up becoming him afterwards, the next Midnight Man. So
very cool.
Could have something like that. But cool book. I know at one point we were at a shop and they were asking like $150 for a high grade raw one on this, or maybe even higher than that. And it was crazy, like crazy expensive. And I still think this is a great book, but it has dropped a little bit, and might be a good time to pick it up. Zach will give you some better words on it.
Well, I had to go to the black market to try to find one. I heard about it on the interwebs. And when I got there, it was a market, right? All painted black, and there were fencing there. So that wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting stuff, but apparently I got, learned it on some fencing courses. So
wrong kind of fencing.
Yeah, the black market fencing. Okay. Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $455 to now $375, but there's a caveat.
That's not that bad.
2 days before that, it was selling for $129, which it was selling for about that price pretty much for weeks and weeks. So there was a random buy it now for $375. So I'm like, I think that's kind of out of the ballpark. I think someone made a mistake. They probably didn't pay for it. So I think the $129 is really...
Maybe they didn't have interwebs.
Yeah, they didn't have any interwebs.
They haven't seen any prices.
They thought the price was still around $400. Well, I got a deal. $375. Oh, you did. Range $125 to $550. Average sales is $297. I would say if you can get it for the $130, $150 price range for a CGC 9.8, I'd do it. But don't pay no $375. But I think for the $120, $130 price range, $140 maybe, I think this would not be a bad pickup. This would probably be my number 2 on the list.
It's a classic book.
It's a great cover. Cover, classic, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that wraps up the drop list for this week, guys. We'll kind of like round this out and give you like a little, overview of today's show. So, notes to take away. Just be careful when you're watching trailers for any comic book, movie, or TV show, and then running out to buy stuff based on things you're not 100% sure are going to happen. And, it's kind of why we make this segment in general, kind of just be careful what you're buying after the trending lists have already come out, because that usually is when they're on the downturn. But, Moon Knight, I think overall was a successful show. I don't know if all these books would go back to their former glory, as Zach has kind of stated as well, but we haven't seen the last of Moon Knight, which is a good thing. And there's always good opportunities for things to go back up again. So now might be the good time to buy some of these books around the drop list, and that's also why we do this show.
Right.
So if you like hearing these kind of things, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the Moon Knight show, whether or not you guys liked it or not, and are hoping to see a second season like I am. And Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. How you do that is you have to get in the know. You gotta have really good friends with shop owners, right? Shops that you really like to peruse all the time. So when they have crazy sales and they're a mile out the door, and everybody's waiting at the front door, you go in the back door and skip like 2 hours of waiting, and that's how you get those gains. Yeah, Jordans, do that with Jordans, comic book releases, pretty much everything. Movie lines, hey,
In-N-Out Burger.
If you want to, watch a movie for free, more or less, work at the movie theater. There's usually
do it at the airport. Just sneak in the back door. Skip all the. Wait, no, you don't.
You make good friends by doing that. Yeah, that's how you do it, and they'll let you in. They know you're not a crazy person.
True.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
That's how you get those gains.
Until we see you next time. Stay safe and remember,
Get those friendly gains.
backdoor gains.
Backdoor gains.